Hello students, today we are going to start our new chapter reproduction in plants. All living things ultimately die, but before they die, many of them produce young ones of their own kind. The process of producing young ones of their own kind is known as reproduction. It is because of reproduction that life continues from generation to generation. All the systems of living organisms described so far as essential for life, if one of them were to stop working, the organisms would die. But the reproductive system is not needed for the organism to stay alive. However, without it, the organisms cannot produce offspring and therefore cannot continue its species. Flowers change into fruits which have seeds in them. Seeds germinate to produce new plants. Thus, flowers are the reproductive part of a plant. The other parts of a plant, for example, roots, stems, and leaves, are known as the vegetative parts of plants. But plants do not only reproduce from flowers, they reproduce in several other ways also. Some new plants are produced by bulbs, leaves, or tubers. In yeast, the buds grow out of the body of the parent organism. The two main methods of reproductions are asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, only one parent is needed, resulting in offspring that are exact copies of the parent. For example, in plants, asexual reproduction occurs without seeds. In sexual reproduction, two parents, one male and one female, are involved. The offspring are not exact copy of either parent. In plants, sexual reproduction occurs by the formation of seeds. Asexual reproduction, there are many forms of asexual reproduction in plants. Some of these are like fragmentation, budding, spore formation. First of all, we will discuss about the fragmentation. In fragmentation, the body of the parent breaks into distinct species, each of which can produce an offspring. In the slimy green algae, you can see growing in stagnant water reproduction occur by the process of fragmentation. This is the fragmentation in an alga. In budding, a bulb-like projection called bud occurs on the body of the parent organism. This bud grows into an offspring and may eventually break away from the parent. Yeast reproduce by budding. In yeast, a little cytoplasm accumulates at one end of the cell and a bud is formed. The nucleus divides into two. One of them enters the bud. The bud grows and eventually gets detached from the parent cell to form a new cell. The process continues and a large number of yeast cells are produced in a short time. If the supply of nutrition is enough, bud formation occurs rapidly to form a chain of yeast cells. Next is the reproduction through spore formation. Some non-flowering plants such as mosses, ferns and molds reproduce by spore formation. A spore is a tiny spherical unicellular body protected by a thick wall. It grows into a new plant when conditions are favorable. Bread mold can often be seen growing on moist stale bread, grows when spores settle on the bread. The vegetative reproduction, when new plants are produced from the vegetative part of the mother plant, such as root, stem, or leaves, without the help of any reproductive organs is known as the vegetative reproduction. Many plants like strawberry, cacti reproduce by vegetative reproduction. Some plants, such as potato, reproduce through stem tubers. A stem tuber is a swollen part of the stem that store food underground. A potato has small buds on its surface known as eyes, and each bud can grow into a new plant. New plants are also produced by parts of underground stems in ginger and from bulbs in onion. Lily and tulip bulbs are underground stems with thick leaves. And in some plants, such as strawberry and grasses, the main plant develops sides, shoots which have buds and that grows into a new plants. New plants are also obtained from the leaves, roots, and shoots of some plants. The leaf of Bifolium has many buds on its margin. These buds give rise to a new plant. Sweet potato is grown by cutting its swollen roots into parts and planting them in the soil. In money plant, the new plants can grow from shoots of the parent plant. So, in plants, cells of only a specific tissue can divide and therefore growth occurs only at a place where such a tissue is present. This is known as uh, the in plant cell of only a specific tissue that can be divided, and from there growth is occur only at the place where such a tissue is present. This is known as the meristematic tissues. The parts of the plants that give rise to a new plant contain the meristematic tissues. There are artificial methods of vegetative reproduction like grafting, cutting, layering, tissue culture. Vegetative reproduction has several advantages. Therefore, several artificial methods have been developed for vegetative reproduction. These are commonly used to grow many plants from one plant. The process of growing new plants by artificial method is known as artificial propagation.